Hello, wonderful viewers. Welcome to KubeSight, your insider look at KubeCon CloudNativeCon. I am Katie Greenlee, and I'm super excited to be here with all of you today. Thanks for joining us. A few housekeeping notes before we get started. During the live stream, you are not able to talk as an attendee. There is a Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. Please feel free to drop your questions in there, and we'll get to as many as possible at the end. This is an official live stream of the CNCF, and as such, it is subject to the CNCF Code of Conduct. Please do not add anything to the chat or questions that would be in violation of that Code of Conduct. Basically, please be respectful of all your fellow participants and presenters. Today's live stream is all about Kubetrain. We'll dive into the sustainable alternative for traveling to KubeCon and CloudNativeCon and how you can book your ticket to join other community members. I can't wait to share some exciting exclusive insights and how you can take advantage of this experience. I'd like to take a moment and welcome our guests, Andrea, Carla, Matteo, Nila, and Phil, who are organizers of the Kubetrain, and they'll be sharing their knowledge with each of you. So welcome, everyone. Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Let's get started with a question about providing just Andrea, maybe you can provide us an overview of what Kubetrain is and how the idea came about.
Yeah, sure. I mean, hello everyone. My name is Andrea. I'm a CNCF ambassador, and let's say that this idea really blew up in my hands. Let's put it this way. I think I had the first time this idea last summer, at a certain point during the summer, and the idea was actually pretty simple. People have been traveling to KubeCon by train since the beginning of time. It's something that's been happening, since forever. But it has always happened in a small community, right? Like 2 people, group of 3 people, maximum 4. There was never a way of, organizing bigger groups to bring people to KubeCon. And so I thought, it could be cool to have something a little bit more organized, where we just bring a group of people going from, different cities around France or different cities around Europe in this case, and, find a nice way of organizing a group, going to KubeCon all together, eventually, doing some activity during the train trip, eventually using this kind of a group discount to get, better ticket prices and such. And yeah, this is how the idea came to be. I started by, sharing it with a couple of friends, a couple of colleagues that I trust. And, the more I was thinking about it, the more I was like, this could actually work. Let's put it this way. Mm-hmm. And back in September, October, I decided to, okay, let's try to make it happen. I talked about that with, some more colleagues, with the other CNCF ambassadors. And I mean, here we are today. I mean, I could have never, I could have never imagined back then that this initiative would just get so much success.
Yeah. I think it's such a great initiative that you started. What an awesome dream to kind of have that conceptualize into a great advantage for people to come to KubeCon outside of flying, getting to know each other in a more intimate and sustainable way. And each of you, Matteo and Carla and Nila and Phil, you're each organizers in different cities, correct? And that's kind of how you came about being part of this. Maybe Phil, you can share a little bit about your experience and what motivated you to get involved in this project.
Yeah, thanks. I think Switzerland is basically a train nation, and we would have gone to Paris anyhow by train because it's much more easy than taking a plane. And so Johan, also a Cloud Native ambassador, approached me if we want to organize that together. So that would be out of the KCD Zurich and the Swiss Cloud Native Day in Bern. Mm-hmm. So we said, let's subsidize these tickets. It's a first-class ticket and just rent the whole wagon. It's I think it's 60 or 62 people. And it sold out within, I think, 2 months. So it was absolutely crazy. And now to that date, still people are asking us to rent another wagon, but we're not going to do that. But with 60 people, we will have a goodie bag with some sandwiches, some drinks, and just have a good time together. It's a 4-hour ride. Really looking forward to that. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah. That's great. I love hearing that you had such momentum so quickly with the Zurich train to sell out. And I wish I was traveling from there because I would love a good goodie bag. Nila, what about you? Where are you kind of based, and how did you get involved in this project?
Yeah, so I'm based in Berlin, and I'm normally also traveling myself quite a lot with the train. And yeah, Andrea approached me and asked me what I think about it. And I was like, yeah, that's a great idea. First of all, not traveling alone. It's 8 hours from Berlin to Paris. And we all know Deutsche Bahn is known for, well, I mean, not being always on time. There might be some hiccups. So sharing this with a group of people definitely is nicer. And also like use the time to get to know people, because when you arrive at KubeCon, it's so big. It feels nice if you already have some familiar faces, that you might catch during the conference days for coffee as well. Yeah, and it is a little bit different for us because we couldn't rent out the whole wagon because we had no financial entity to buy the whole tickets. So we are an individual train. That basically means everyone who wants to join us needs to buy their ticket individually, but we still make sure that we meet up at the train station and travel together.
Great. Do you already have a set meetup for those who are traveling from Berlin to Paris?
Yes, we already have the train set. It's on the page. So we will meet in Berlin Central Station at, I think, around 8:30 on the 16th of March. And yeah, we will have a communication channel prior to it, so we can make sure that we can find each other on the platform.
Awesome. And Carla, why don't you share where you're from and how you got involved in the project as well?
Yeah, definitely. I'm another recruit from Andrea. I think a lot of us were approached by Andrea because I'm also a CNCF ambassador. So it was good for us to be in this group and get the details on Kubetrain. Very excited. I've been living in London for almost 10 years, so it was easy for me to kind of navigate the London logistics. And I know the UK is not the first option you think of when it comes to trains, but the Eurostar is actually a great way to go to France. And that's what we're gonna use to do the London Paris trade. It's our train is a bit different because we chose to arrive a bit earlier than other trains. We're arriving on the Saturday, the 16th of March, because we decided that we would love to join Rejects as well, which is the fan community conference happening before KubeCon, and the community here in the UK is very fond of it. They love to combine KubeCon and Rejects, so we try to accommodate that. It's still a smaller group of people because the departure date is different, but we are planning to entertain them. We're gonna have some swag as well, and yeah, I'm very excited to get this started.
That's awesome. I love that you're taking advantage of getting to the conference early with a group of people to go to Rejects together, have that experience, and then carry on those relationships into the rest of the week. That's such a great way to kind of kick off a fun KubeCon and CloudNativeCon week for Paris. Matteo, why don't you tell me a little bit about where you're from and how you got involved as well?
So I was also a recruit from Andrea, very early, I would say, Andrea and William actually. And I'm from Amsterdam, so I live there. And the train from Amsterdam is always amazing because I think we have a very big community already for KCD. In fact, most of our attendees and people that I've seen signing up for the train are from KCD or already in the meetup groups. So on the train, we're organizing some games, for example, because we have 3.5 hours until we go to Paris. So we're gonna have some fun, maybe some quiz, just to have some fun on the ride. And I'm very happy that Andrea involved me in this project because I believe that sustainability is not only a matter of software and green software, but also some activism, even in a small action that you can take, like choosing the train over an airplane. In our case, it's easier because in Europe, I think that the train and the railways are very convenient, even for medium distance and long distance travel. And since I've been a digital nomad, I also use the train a lot. So it's amazing that I can take it with a lot of people.
Yeah, that's awesome. And is Amsterdam having its own train? Is it an individual train just like everyone else? What's that kind of look like for Amsterdam folks?
We basically booked up until now Alpha Wagon, and it's going to depart at like 3:10 on the 18th of March. We already have our communication channels with the attendees. The tickets are almost sold out, so we still need like some more attendees. But I think that we will reach that very easy. And yeah, we are having fun. And yeah, that's it.
Great. I know each of you talked a little bit about they can book their tickets through the Kubetrain.io website, correct? And once they've booked their tickets, depending on their location, it sounds like there's ways for people to be marked as, independent, or the trains are marked as independent, or if they're a wagon. If they're independent and you're traveling from, say, where Nila is from, Berlin, or even Carla from the UK, how do people, how are you going to recognize each other? Is there how are you communicating where they meet? How are you pulling them together so that way they know that they're with the right folks? Just to kind of give people an idea of how they get the information of where to go.
So the idea is, when for an independent train, this problem is not there, because pretty much independent train means that we tell you that there will be a group on a certain train on a certain wagon, and you book the ticket yourself, so you already know the seat you need to go to. For bigger groups like the one of Matteo, the one of Carla, the one of Phil, the organizer of the group, the person that takes care of a certain group, always keeps a communication channel open, pretty much. So everybody will get their ticket on time in advance, and it will be very easy, to recognize the other members of the team. But you will also at least know your seat number in advance and know your wagon in advance, so that there is no issues finding the other people that are part of the group. And yeah, we try to make it, of course, as as easy as possible for people really to join. We want to make it as straightforward and as easy as possible.
Great.
Yeah, I think there's ways. Obviously, we are working on creating a set of joining instructions with all the details, and everybody's going to receive these communications. Everybody's going to receive their own ticket, just in case for any reason we miss each other at the meeting point. That's possible, but individuals should be equipped to board the train even without us, if they miss us for any reason. One thing that I wanted to mention about the London train is that people are not actually purchasing tickets, but they are making donations to a charity.
Okay.
Because we decided, we were lucky to have a sponsor, and we decided that the sponsor will cover the ticket cost, and people need to show proof of donation to an environmental charity in order to secure their ticket. So as soon as we have this confirmation, we send the details to the person, and we secure their seat on the carriage. But yeah, we have a smaller group, so it's going to be only half, even less of the carriage.
Yeah, that's a good thing to note. So it sounds like some trains are sponsored and some trains aren't. How does someone come in and help to sponsor train if they want to, or location at this time?
In general, if you're interested in one specific location, you can just go to Kubetrain.io. There is a list of departures that are already existing, that already have organizers, and then you can just reach out to the organizers. Usually it's just Zurich at Kubetrain.io or Amsterdam at Kubetrain.io. It's just like name of the city at Kubetrain.io. In case there is a departure station that you don't see, and maybe you would be interested in having it, or you would be interested in eventually sponsoring next year, the email info@kubetrain.io is always active for any other kind of request. Let's put it this way.
Great. I think a few of you touched base on what is going to happen during the train ride. Phil talked about the goodie bag that they'll be handing out. What other things can we expect for each of the different train rides? Are there like a networking sessions happening? Are there kind of fun things that are going to happen throughout the train ride to get people to know each other? Is anyone hosting anything along those lines? I'd love to kind of hear what each of you are doing to help bring the community together even more during this experience. Matteo, let's start with you.
Yeah, so in our case, we want to organize games, but I also think that we could organize something along the lines of setting up a schedule for KubeCon, because most people probably already know, but KubeCon is huge. So you need to figure your schedule out. And if you don't want to miss your talks, you need to already know where the next talk is going to be to move fast. So that I think it's a very useful thing to do. And sometimes since you don't have time on a plane and you don't have all the comfort, it's very difficult to see the schedule. But since we are in a group and on a train, it's easier to just grab a piece of paper and just write down a schedule, for example. And then, we would love some games because we want to do like some networking, even like some fun networking, of course.
That's awesome. I think it's a great point to talk about, planning out your schedule before you get to KubeCon and maybe working with other people who may have gone to KubeCons prior, right?
Exactly.
There's a lot.
Yeah, we might have some first timers, and if you're a first timer, you're gonna probably lose some talks because you don't know where to go. Of course, the venue is always new, so it's also a challenge. But I think that we're gonna make it. So.
Yeah. Phil, why don't you tell us a little bit more about what you're doing with the Zurich wagon since it's 60 people in one wagon together, right?
Yeah, I think we just play it a bit by ear. As I said, we will have a goodie bag with some food, with sandwiches, a dessert. We will have some beer. Beer always helps to have a good mood. So we will play it by ear. We thought about having some lightning talks, but I think since we are on 2 floors, it's not really feasible to do that, in my opinion. But let's have a good conversation. Let's meet 60 people is quite a lot. So looking really forward to that. And
that's great. Maybe you'll have some first timers where they can, in those conversations, just like Matteo's, talk about the schedule. They can kind of talk about best practices while they're there, tips for KubeCon, right? We all know
absolutely.
KubeCon's a marathon. It's not a sprint race, so pace yourself, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Nila, what about you? I know it's a little bit different because you're an individual train. Do you have anything that you're planning on, helping to create that networking experience for Berlin?
Yes, so we were thinking of encourage people to switch seats from time to time so people can mix up and don't sit always next to the same person. But then also because it's an 8-hour ride, so we also want to make sure if people don't feel like networking for an hour, they have also maybe the possibility to sit at seats that are indicated for people that don't want to network maybe at that time. So I think it's also like 8 hours. I don't know if you can network for 8 hours. I bring for sure also some board games, and then I also, like Phil said, play it by ear. Maybe then a group wants to sit at one of those famous tables in the train and wants to play a game, and others need maybe a moment with music and be quiet, but then still have the opportunity to mix and match during the train ride.
That's awesome. I think you're right. Giving people the opportunity to take that break from networking is really key during travel, but also leading into KubeCon, right? KubeCon, like I said, it's that marathon. There's a lot of opportunities to network. Make sure you're taking care of yourself prior going into KubeCon, while you're at KubeCon, and definitely when you get home, giving yourself that space to be able to feel empowered to step away and not network for a moment and take some silence for yourself is always important. And Carlo, what about the Eurostar? What kind of things are you have planned for people? I know you're all going to rejects together. Is the plan like when you get into Paris to go straight over to reject? Like what does kind of that look like for your people?
Actually, we're taking it easy because Reject starts on Sunday, so we arrive later in the afternoon, and so people can actually check in, relax first. But for the train ride, very similar to the others, not strict schedule at the moment. We thought about having some quizzes as well. Just because pub quiz here is a thing, and it could be a good way also to engage people with tips around KubeCon. It's a conversation starter as well if you get the answer right or wrong. Hopefully snacks as well, and I'm totally gonna steal the idea from Matteo of build your own schedule. I think we can dedicate the moment to, okay, now you all open Sketch, you log in and you choose the sessions you want to attend. I think that's a great idea because I never find time to do that. I'm sure I'm not the only one.
Yeah,
exactly.
I think it can be, I think we all have prior to KubeCon, like this idea of like what it's going to look like, especially when it comes to building out schedules, that we're going to go to all these talks and then something comes up inevitably and you don't end up going. But I think it's a great way to kind of talk to people about, oh, you're going to go to that talk too. I really want to go to it. Let's meet up and go together and make sure we get to see that speaker. When they arrive in Paris, Andrea, what kind of do you have anything planned? Is there anything that's kind of pulling all these different locations and people who are traveling to Paris together, so that way they can celebrate that they all took advantage of the Kubetrain?
Yeah, sure thing. I mean, as you have heard, like trains are arriving right now on a couple of different days. We really wanted to keep it as flexible as possible, right? This is the first time we organized this initiative. We wanted to be as flexible as we could, and we did it. We wanted to put as little restrictions as possible, really. The majority of people, they will be arriving in Paris by the 18th. And so what we're doing, and this is a Monday, a day before the co-located event starts. And what we're going to organize on the Monday evening is a final, Kubetrain party that is going to, take all the people that are coming to KubeCon by train, but also some members of the local community, right? Because there are some people, for example, that are already based in Paris, including myself. This is the biggest irony. Like I'm already based in the city where KubeCon is going to be. So I will be just taking care of, organizing the party and making sure that people that come here by a Kubetrain, they have a nice experience and they have a nice final event. So the 18th in the evening, we are going to have a party in a bar here in Paris as a conclusion of this initiative for Europe 2024. And, just trying to make sure that everybody has a little moment to exchange, to celebrate, because, the people that are right now in the call with me that organize different Kubetrains, but many other people are part of this initiative. They also need to have like a moment to, see like that this is actual reality and it's not like just Slack messages pretty much. And, a lot of credit for making Kubetrain a reality goes definitely to them. It's something I would have never accomplished alone.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm excited to get to see everyone in Paris for this. I'll be at the party. Unfortunately, I will not be traveling by train. It would be very hard from Colorado in the United States to go by train to Paris. But maybe one day I'll be able to fly in early and take a train to another KubeCon, because I have a feeling that this is going to be something that continues on to future years, just based off of the momentum it's getting and the excitement that people are bringing forth. I know a lot of people are super excited to be part of this. While we're kind of talking about excitement, what is the thing that you are the most excited about when it comes to Kubetrain and leading into the next couple weeks for this for your departures? Carla, let's start with you. What are you the most excited about?
It's hard because in general, the all KubeCon week, it's a very exciting moment. And this Kubetrain feels like an extension of the excitement just because it's a way to engage with yet another initiative with the community. And for me, every opportunity to be with the community is a win. Maybe during this ride, another initiative similar to Kubetrain is gonna be conceived. You never know. Like, these are the moments where people come together and they come up with new ideas for the future. So this kind of serendipity or creativity, that's what excites me.
Yeah. It looks like, Phil, you're nodding along.
Yeah.
That's kind of the same excitement you have from it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think KubeCon now starts already in Zurich in a way, right? With all these 60 people. And it's also good. It's only a 4-hour ride, so Nele, to you, 8 hours is a lot of networking. I think everyone can do 4 hours.
Yeah.
So I think that's I think looking forward to that, and then directly to the party. I think our train arrives like 5, 6-ish. Check into the hotel and then go to the party with lots of people. So I'm really, really excited, but I have to pace myself, absolutely, because as you said, Katie, it's a marathon. So let's don't overdo it.
Yeah, definitely. Neela, what about you? What are you the most excited about when it comes to your long journey with all those folks and getting to KubeCon?
Yeah, I think Carla and Phil mentioned that KubeCon will start earlier, right? So you will have KubeCon Light starting in your city, and you have the time to adjust, and then before you go to this big venue and have all the people there. But also, I'm quite excited to see maybe that this can motivate people to take the train instead of the plane, because I think that's something we should be better in Europe when we are traveling, and especially with conferences. And I'm excited to see that we are more train travelers, or becoming more train travelers in the future. And that's something that I'm also excited for. Yeah,
and I agree. I think this is a great first step to reminding people that there's an alternative to taking planes, and that alternative gives you that chance to get the extra networking, to make new friends outside of that quick option to get somewhere, right? And then of course you're helping from a sustainability portion of it. Matteo, what about you? What are you the most excited about?
So one thing I'm excited about, like being on a train instead of a plane, because I like to walk. So I can finally walk during the trip. I don't have to stay restrained on my seat. It's a bit uncomfortable for me, so I need to walk sometime. Also, I can work on my laptop, or not work probably, but like look at the conferences and like do some social media posts, so I can actually be productive. But also, I'm excited for the party. I have to say it, because it's going to be amazing. Also, thanks to our sponsors, and I think it's a pretty cool idea that Andrea had to have also a party at the beginning of the event. So I think it's going to be very, very cool.
Yeah, I agree. I think that flexibility of being able to not be stuck in a seat on a plane, right? It's the worst for me. So I get it, needing to get up and walk around, and then getting to come together at that party. And Andrea, what a kudos to you for pulling all of this together and pulling together the party. I think this is going to be a great way to kind of kick off KubeCon. With that being said, we're kind of at the 30-minute mark. I want to take a minute and have each of you provide any last words before we sign off for the day. Anything you want people to be aware of when it comes to the train. I know definitely one is, if your location's not listed but you're traveling by train, make sure you include your train as an individual one, and people can join you as you travel. Reach out to info@KubeCon or Kubetrain.io. Is a tip for those who may not see their location on Kubetrain.io.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, of course, right now we have like 1 month left to KubeCon, so it might be a little bit too late to organize the whole, sponsorship and everything, like just for a question of timing. But I mean, this initiative is really just like bringing people together, right? As you were saying, Katie, like somebody can be maybe a little bit. Let's take like the example of Berlin. People can be a little bit intimidated by like doing an 8-hour ride of train, like, okay, it's going to take a long time and everything. But if they know that they're traveling with somebody else, if they know that they're traveling with a group, then the whole experience becomes a little bit more fun, a little bit more entertaining, and it becomes really an alternative to like traveling by plane. And this is what like really pushed, like I feel, pushed many of us to like participate into this. And yeah, I mean, I'm really looking forward to see all of you here in Paris. I'm really looking forward to the party as well, because I feel that's when I will feel like this thing is a reality, like this is actually happening. Yeah. And very much looking forward to it, I have to say.
Great. Anyone else?
Yeah, if I may add a few words, I would like to thank all the people that are working in the background, because I'm the one at the forefront right now. But in my case, we have an amazing community behind the Kubetrain Netherlands. So Alessandro, Sevi, Lian, like all the people helping us, Chris, they are like looking for sponsors and also like helping me with the reservations and stuff. Katalin, there is a bunch, an amazing bunch, I would say, for the Kubetrain. Most of them are from the KCD group, but also from DevOps Days. So we came together from 2 different communities, also in Cloud Native, and it's amazing. I think it's something that, thanks to Andrea, we pulled out. So yeah, kudos to him as well.
Yeah. I think that's a great point, is that it takes a real community to pull all of this together. It's not an individual effort. So definitely thanks to all those people behind the scenes who are helping. Thanks to all of you who have helped to pull your communities together. It's going to be a really great start to KubeCon. I'm excited at the party to hear the cool things that happen to people while they're on the train, and the conversations that came out of it, the ideas that people came up with, the way that they built their schedule for their week. I'm super excited for that. And thank you, all of you, for joining me today to talk about the Kubetrain. And I'll see all of you in Paris.
For sure.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. See you in Paris. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, folks.